Episode, we're going to talk about the Bulls' win in the preseason finale against the Bucks, how Patrick Williams performed in this game, and did he just lock in himself as the starting power forward? We're going to talk about all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. That's prizepicks.com, promo code Locked On. That's Pat, the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze.
Here.
I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. Hey, bro, listen. I got something to tell you, man. I don't know. We got a Marco signing, and after Marco hit those 2 free throws, he had to go in for an X-ray, and he got that cat in him, bro.
Oh,
he doesn't have a dog. He got the cat in him. I just Marco Simonovic got that cat in him. It is what it is. There, you can take the read how you want to take that.
I was about to say that's a tough joke, bro. Like. That could be taken the wrong way very easily, bro. That's a tough joke. I don't think you intended in that way, but that's pretty funny.
Hey, what's understood doesn't need to be said. But nonetheless, we had our best performance from Patrick Williams in this game, scoring 22 points in a victory against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, the Milwaukee Bucks had more players out than they had in. We were basically playing against second string and G Leaguers, but what was positive for you? What did you take away from this performance over Patrick Williams? From Patrick Williams, I should say.
You know what? It's just the fact that it was almost as if P. Will finally realized, right? Like, hey, I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm faster, and I can go harder than y'all can right now. It does irk me a little bit that he only was able to do that versus, like you said, right, some guys that might not make the team. But I mean, listen, there were some guys that are going to be on the team out there, right? Javon Carter has proven himself that he's going to be a nice piece for them off of the bench. I really like Noir's game. I thought he really caught me off guard tonight. But, you know, like, I think at the end of the day, the thing is, right, you want to see what Patrick Williams is going to be able to show on the court consistently. You want to see how he's going to be able to attack the guy across from him consistently. And at a minimum, right, you saw him do the things we've asked him to do. No matter what the competition is, we're finally – I'm not going to penalize him because it was against weaker competition than you're going to play on a night-in, night-out basis. The one thing that I don't know is if this changes his positioning. Does this lock him up as a starter? Does this keep him on the bench? But I do like that we saw aggressive P. Will for once. Now the question is that going to be a night in, night out thing, or is that going to be a thing when I know I can beat the dude across from me?
The thing is that, and that's all valid questions, right? Very valid questions to ask because we haven't seen him do it against better competition. And the last time that we saw him have this, well, we saw it in the playoffs a little bit, but it was, again, a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves where a lot of starters were out. We saw him go off too. So there's all those questions are valid. I think outside of taking away the result, right? Yep. It's the play style. That's the thing that was most beneficial to me in that is that seeing him be aggressive, seeing him, you know, and you said it on your live call. That first stint of Patrick Williams being in there, it wasn't good. Javonte came in, immediately made a basket. Immediately. and then when Patrick Williams came back in, it was like Pat said, oh, wait, I can do that too. Yeah. And we started seeing Pat Will, like he would get these rebounds, immediately go up hard. He took shots, missed it. He didn't shoot the ball too well from 3, but he shot the ball overall pretty well. But then he did other things in this. The aggressiveness to Patrick Williams' games unlocked so much for him because the 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. That's what we need to see from Patrick Williams outside of the 22 points. Let's say against better competition, especially if Giannis is out there, he's not scoring 22 points, even playing like this. Yeah. But the other things that he's doing with the aggressiveness, that's what we need to see from Patrick Williams. And we've always said it here. Once Patrick realizes how good he can be, once Patrick realizes, hey, I'm stronger than you, I'm probably faster than you, I can handle the ball. Once he starts realizing those things and does it consistently, his game's going to open up a lot.
And here's the thing, right? It's not just us saying that, right? Like, it's not like, what the heck do we know? We're not in the NBA locker room right now. Like, we know something. Like, we're not stupid, but like, his teammates are saying it.
Mhm.
The coach is saying it. The owner is saying it. The entire NBA is saying it. If Patrick Williams becomes an aggressive player, watch out. But at the end of the day, Patrick Williams has to become that level of player. He has to become that guy that is going to be this when you're not going up against Marquise Bolden, right?
Yeah.
You have to be that level of player when you're going up against Kawhi, LeBron, Kevin Durant, right? Like, and I understand, right? There's different responsibilities in those situations where, yeah, you're being asked to do a lot more. You got to guard one of the best scorers in NBA history. That's going to be a little bit tougher for you to go down there and score on the other end. But at the end of the day, the thing that you need to see from Patrick Williams for the Bulls to take the step, I said this during the live call, is what we saw tonight. If he does what you saw tonight, you're on a trajectory where not only Zach, not only DeMar, not only Vooch are going to be able to play well, but Patrick Williams giving you that aggression and giving you that other option just makes everybody else's life easier, and it takes the Bulls to that next level.
Absolutely. Now, Patrick Williams, a quote from him after the game, I'm going to read this. I try not to really think too much. I think when I think a lot out there, it's kind of when I don't play too well. I kind of overthink the little things of the game that just come natural to us. So kind of going out there and playing off instinct. What do you think about that awareness and quote from Patrick Williams?
I mean, I like it, except for the fact that his natural instinct is passive. Right? Like, his natural instinct is to be the team player.
Well, maybe that's not it. Maybe that's what he became, but maybe he does have a little bit more if he goes into his instinct of just doing a little bit more of what we saw today. Maybe it's more so towards the middle. Maybe,
right? Like, I would hope that would be the case, right? I think that's something that puts you in a better position as a player, right? Like, the more times you take shots, the more opportunities you're going to have. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Shout out Wayne Gretzky out here. I like seeing him take shots, and let's be 100% right. He took shots in every game.
Yeah, but I think he was more aggressive taking shots every game this preseason.
But he didn't take shots like he took today.
No, not at all. Not like he took today. This was a different level.
He took 8 shots in the last game. I think he took 7 shots the first game or the game before that, right? The first couple of games he went to the bench, but he didn't take shots like he did. Like, today he was showing, like, you're not better than me.
Yeah.
I want you to know you're not better than me. In fact, I'm going to put it on a poster that you're not better than me. And I think that's the part where you look at Patrick Williams and you're like, man, like, I feel like there's something deeper inside of this kid that could be unlocked, that could take the Bulls to the next level. And if we can just get that, but like versus players that matter, that's kind of the part that the Bulls have to get to with Patrick Williams. And that's the part that maybe you do start the season with P. Will on the bench. I mean,
and that was going to be my next question before we end this segment.
Yeah.
Not what we think the team's going to do. As of right now, who would you start? Patrick Williams or Javonte Green? Who's getting the start if you were the head coach against the Miami Heat?
The part that sucks is you can't start Javonte, right? Like, what's the saying? To continue to do what you know doesn't work is insanity. Javonte next to Vooch don't work. It works to a point, right? Like, you can play solid defense. You can get out on the break like that. All those things, nice. But when I need somebody to set to box out if Vooch switches off of Bam Adebayo versus the Miami Heat, that ain't gonna be Javonte Green. We know that don't work. We've seen that don't work. So you kind of have to start Patrick Williams in that situation, in my opinion, especially when you basically told Marko Simonovic you'll be cut by the time this season ends. I thought Marko was going to do so much more, bro. I don't know. I got that.
We got that X-ray again from Marko Simonovic.
No, not the X-ray again, bro. What is the cat doing in there? Why was the cat startled? The cat was surprised.
I know you don't have cats, bro, but cats literally are always surprised. Like, that's they live in a permanent state of being surprised.
Cat was flabbergasted. no idea what the heck was coming his way.
But while we're mulling over who's going to be the starting power forward for the Chicago Bulls, we now know who's going to be the starting point guard. It's officially been announced. But before we're going to talk about that, I got to talk to you guys about Prize Picks. So with Prize Picks, it's I don't even know what to say about Prize Picks. One thing I do love about Prize Picks is how easy it makes it. You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they go to score more or less than Prize Picks projections, you can win up to 10 times your money. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport that you watch that includes NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, PGA, college football, men's basketball, women's college basketball, soccer, WNBA, esports, everything. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals. Currently operating in over 30 states and Canada. Download the PrizePicks apps or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play the daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive up to 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks gives you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter the promo code Locked On at sign up for instant deposit matchup of up to $100. All right, Pat. Anyway, we have now officially know that Ayo Dosunmu has been named as the starting point guard for the Chicago Bulls. I think the writing was on the wall with that. That's been said. I think me and you both have kind of been in that mindset. You know, there were some questions on if it was going to be Gorn or somebody else, but listen, it ends up being Ayo Dosunmu. What do you think about Ayo officially being the starting point guard for the Chicago Bulls?
Like, honestly, like it's not to say it was. I guess I can't say that, right? I think you needed to see what his mindset was coming into the season, because you did have the option of Caruso. I think Caruso was a real option for Billy Donovan on the table, veteran guy that can come out and play, and runs the position well, right? Like, even when we see him run it off of the bench, still runs the position pretty well.
Yeah.
But you needed to see what Ayo Dosunmu was going to show you. And once you saw that Ayo was like, no, I'm going to take you off the dribble. Now I'm going to pull this 3. No, I'm going to attack the bucket. No, I'm going to facilitate here, right? Like, I look at the last game he played, right? I think his last game, he's 14, 7, and 5. And that's Lonzo Ball. At least the beginning, at least numbers wise, right? Those are similar numbers to what Lonzo Ball would give you on a night in, night out basis. And so, like, I looked at that as okay, hey, now we see kind of what Ayo Dosunmu worked on this offseason. We see how his game is working out. We see how he's commanding it. It doesn't seem like he's just in awe that Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are on the court next to him anymore. And he's coming out and he's cooking, right? Like, I once you saw him after 2 games basically say, this is my job, I'm going to run it how I want to run it, I knew Billy was giving him the job.
Yeah, and we even got something today before the game coming out that Ayo says he talks to Lonzo Ball often. And Lonzo has helped him kind of become a better starting point guard, knowing what to do out there. I love how they're building Ayo's game. It was Ayo's position to lose. Like, that's how I thought about it coming into this. I always thought Alex Caruso was better coming off the bench. Goran, I never believed in Goran as being the starter. I never believed he was coming in here to be a starter. I think we see that Goran in his role and what he does, he shoots the ball well and he facilitates very well for other players out there. Him and Drummond have already have a type of chemistry that I can't wait to see how that develops over the course of the season.
Well, you didn't even think, I guess we kind of commented on it. They've been in practice together for like a while now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because they were together in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So I was like the first game I was like, man, like they look like they've been working together for a while. And I was like, oh wait, they have. They've
been teammates the whole time. But yeah, I mean, shout out to Ayo for earning that position, and hopefully he plays as well enough where we're not even questioning if he needs to continue being the starting point guard into the season. Now, another player that I think we'd be remiss if we did not talk about is Andre freaking Drummond, bro. Like, the thing in this game that I noticed, Andre Drummond taking people off the dribble, that 2 dribble spin and kind of into the post, bro.
Hey, it's the handle for me. Why he out here trying to break mugs down, bro? Like, I mean, he's hit the top of the key. He'll get the ball and just be like, all right, I'm finna, sauce. Like, wait a minute, Drummond did a tween spin move into a lay today. Like, what, Andre? What are you doing, bro? I told you, he hurt me. I told you he's trying to become a premier player again. He know the handle and the three ball to do it. He's gonna be back.
Here you go, bro.
I'm telling you, Andre, I believe in you, brother. Get that three ball together. You knock that three ball down at a 35% clip. Al Horford's in your future. Hey, the wild part is, right, here's the thing. As funny as it is for me to say that, it's hilarious. Ha ha, he. He's 29. And guess what? When you see him move, I love how mugs were like, oh yeah, he's old. Like, he's not, this is a terrible sign that we got an old guy. He been in the league all this time. He moves like a 29-year-old.
And he looks like he dropped. He looks like he's more. He's a little more slim than what he was when he finished last season too. To me, he does.
Slim in Brooklyn too, because he was doing like he was still kind of doing some of the same things, but Kevin Durant was like, stop dribbling the ball.
Maybe I'm just thinking about Philly, but I like Drummond has looked heavy to me the last couple of seasons. I don't know when's the last time I've seen him look. He looks thin, and he looks like maybe he's
he absolutely could have dropped some weight.
Yeah. So,
but I'm excited about what Andre Drummond brings to this Bulls team. And here's the thing: at the end, no matter what is he here for? Rebounding. He does that very well. I'm gonna be honest with you. He does it at a level that if I didn't know what Wilt Chamberlain's numbers were, I would be like, nah, dude, this is one of the best rebounders I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, you could still say that. Like, Andre Drummond is one of the best rebounders I have ever seen in my life. Bro. I've seen Joakim Noah. I've seen Dennis Rodman. I've seen a lot of great rebounders in my time. But Andre Drummond, the way that it's almost like listen, we're going to find out in 5 years Andre Drummond has superpowers, and he's been using it to bring the ball to him. He's a mutant. He's a mutant.
Andre Drummond's a mutant? Is that what we're going to find out? Who's secretly an X-Men? I just, like, when you watch his game, bro, like, I was watching tonight, and there was no rebound that went up that I thought he couldn't get.
Yeah.
And more times than not, it's weird to say it like that. We're gushing over rebounding, but like legit, any ball that went up, I was like, Andre got it. And I feel like the Bulls, here's the thing, right? The Bulls seem like they kind of feel like that as well. Like last season, you had to gang rebound. Gang rebounding destroys fast breaks because 4 dudes got to go get the rebound when you got a 6'4" power forward. This year, and you see it in preseason early, they're gone. When Vooch grabs the ball, when Drummond grabs the ball, they're gone because you got guys now that can quickly get the ball up the court. I'm so excited to see what he's going to be able to add to this team, bro.
Yeah, I mean it's been a revelation. Like I really look at the Andre Drummond edition, maybe one of those ones that we look back and be like, hey, did the Bulls really just sign Andre Drummond for $3.2 million per year? Is that what we're paying him? Wow.
I know, right?
It's crazy, bro. But yeah, I mean, Drummond's look great out there. Javonte Green's look great. I'm really excited to see how this bench unit is going to come together, bro.
Javonte Green's look too good. Yeah, I mean, it's like, what is that actually gonna be? That's my question with Javonte.
Bro, like, when's the last time? Because it's happened. When's the last time we've seen a player that just all of a sudden becomes like this? Like Javonte is literally out there, like you like, and it seems like he sees it well. Like, hey man, I'm about to go out here and get you 16 real quick.
I'm gonna just come out here, drop it quick, and that's how I think the fun part about preseason is that you can see these things and understand that they're not going to happen that way in the regular season. But okay, how is that player? Like you said about Patrick Williams, right? It's more about how he's playing. It's more about how he's attacking. It's more about how he's getting to the ball. Javonte Green can get them same buckets he got tonight on starters, on Miami, versus Bam Adebayo, right? Like he can go get all them same buckets he got tonight versus tough teams. And that's the part that excites me coming into this season about this Bulls bench, because we were so poor last season due to all of our players basically being in the starting lineup or hurt, that this season, right, I'm talking about now, okay, if Zach LaVine actually doesn't have to play much in the fourth quarter, or DeMar DeRozan doesn't have to play that deep into the fourth quarter, like what can this team actually do? Like, I'm not saying we're going to the NBA Finals, but what can this team actually do if they get around the time where playoffs are here and you're a more rested team? You're a more, Zach LaVine didn't have to play 43 minutes a night. You know what I mean? Like, those are the teams that go far in the playoffs. And so what can that turn into with this team?
I mean, that's what the answer remains to be seen, bro. And, as we head towards the last segment, the question is now, the Bulls have averaged over 110 points per game in this preseason. And that's without Zach LaVine looking like Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
What do you think how has this preseason changed, if it has at all, or added to your perception of just how good this Bulls team can be this season if everything comes together?
I think this Bulls team doesn't know how good it can be, and that's the part that excites me, right? Because guess what? Like, as much as excited as we can be, right, and me and you are both excited about the idea of what Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic can be. AK talked about if Ayo Dosunmu takes a step. Mm-hmm. He's expecting Ayo to take a step. Patrick Williams aside, Pat doesn't take a step. What's a step look like for Ayo? He averaged 11 essentially as a starting point guard last year. We talking about 15, 16 points a game? If Ayo Dosunmu has 16 points a game with top defense, what does that team look like? Oh, by the way, we get Lonzo Ball halfway through the season.
Bro, that's a heck of a mid-season acquisition, brother.
Like, I guarantee you, like, I know now, right, a lot of people in the chat and stuff like that, because I've asked, have said Lonzo gets his job back. You got to give Lonzo the job back. Let's get to halfway through the season. If Ayo Dosunmu takes a legitimate step, we going to be having some debate in this mug.
The thing is that I don't think – I still don't think so, just because – and I said this over on Central today – is that just Ayo is a great – on-ball defender, but he's still not the disruptor and versatile defender that Lonzo is, and they may need that in the starting lineup. It really just depends, right? I don't know, but hey, if we get to the point to where we have to have a conversation about, hey, what should we do here? That just tells me that everybody's playing good, and that's not a bad place to need to be in.
Oh no, it's not an upset thing at all. It's a wow, this is amazing. Like, we have 2 point guards that legitimately could start, but I think the conversation would more so be, do we want to slow Ayo down? Like, clearly Ayo's taking a step. Clearly Ayo's developing, and that's if this comes to that. But right, like, that's what I mean. Like, if something like that happens, you're talking about a completely different situation with your starting point guard situation. Now you're talking about, even at a minimum, right? Ayo stays at the starting point guard position. Again, we in Chicago do not care where you get your points, your assists, whatever it is. We just want you to get them. If Lonzo's coming off of the bench doing what Lonzo does, this team is dangerous.
But see, that's the thing, though, bro. I was going to say, yeah. I mean, it's a win-win situation for the Bulls, but I'm not ready to say, like I said this to you before when we talked about it, I think Ayo would have to play so amazingly good for it to not be Lonzo Ball's position when he comes back. But, I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, 100%, right? Like, and that's the part, I think that's why I say, right, like, how good can this Bulls team be? They don't know. Because there's young pieces on this team that you can rely. If Kobe White can give us what he gave in the second half today, we didn't even talk about Kobe White. If Kobe White gives us what he gave in the second half today, Kobe was cooking mugs. Like, all of a sudden, like, he had the handle on the string. They couldn't keep up with him.
Listen, Kobe White with a handle, because even in the first half, and I said this over on Central as well, like, the way that he broke people down at times and got to that floater, if he can start hitting down that floater to add that to his shooting, that's dangerous, bro. But we need to see him do it consistently. As with, like, Patrick Williams, it all has to come with a consistency. It has to come against better competition. All those preseason caveats, all that thrown out for sure. But if that's something that is legitimately going to be added to his game, that opens up a lot for Kobe White.
And it's just another dynamic for this team, right? Like, it's a dynamic that we're not taking into account. What are we realistically taking into account right now? What's Zach gonna do? What's DeMar gonna do? What's Vooch gonna do? That's the known. That's what we know. We know Vooch can be, as a third option on this team, 17 and 11. And if he's playing like he's playing right now, 17 and 11 with decent defense and efficient, maybe he's more than that. We know DeMar can. I'm gonna be real with you. It didn't feel like DeMar scored over 20 in any of these games. Every one of them, he's got 20.
Effortless. That's another thing too. Like, there have been periods where they've gone to isolation, but that ISO thing, has been for the most part gone this offseason.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that's a good thing, right? Like you can tell it feels like they've changed their offense around.
Yeah.
It feels like they've made some adjustments to their offense, they've made some adjustments to their game, and that they've put themselves in a position to where we have multiple options here. But again, right, like we're basing everything that this season's going to be off of 3 dudes and maybe Lonzo Ball if he comes back.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unknown with this Chicago Bulls team, and if that unknown unlocks even the smallest bit of something, this team could be a completely different basketball team. We could have a Boston Celtics. I'm not saying you go to the finals, but a Boston Celtics flip of the switch. Well, all of a sudden you're looking at the Bulls and you're like, we beating some teams we ain't supposed to beat. I didn't have us slated down here beating the Golden State Warriors like this, right? Like all of a sudden you just start to see teams separate themselves, but you have to have those young. That's why I keep telling all the Muzz that want to be. I don't care about being right. I care about the Bulls winning. All the people that want to be right over the Bulls winning, Patrick Williams is trash. He should be on the bench. You should hope that's not the case because that means the Bulls aren't going to win.
But they think, oh, the Bulls can trade Patrick Williams, who got benched, Kobe White, and Tony Bradley, and we're gonna get LeBron. It's just come on, fam. Like it is what it is. I went on a whole rant on that over on Central. I'm not gonna do it here, but I'll say this: like I came into this preseason saying I wanted to see certain things from the Chicago Bulls, and while I didn't get all of that, I got about 85% of what I wanted, and another 10% of things I didn't even know I wanted to see, and I saw here. It's preseason. We all know that. Those caveats thrown out there.
Yeah.
But the new look of the Bulls offense, the fact that we do have people moving consistently without the ball, it's just that alone is going to change so much for this team. That alone, not even talking about leaps from Ayo Dosunmu possibly, Zach LaVine being fully healthy and what he's able to do, Vooch now being locked in and being more comfortable in his position. Like, not talking about the bench and Andre Drummond. Like, this team and what they've changed in this offseason is I think going to pay off more than what some people realize, because I think when you're just watching the game, you're of course not comparing. You don't have a game side by side up of how our offense look. You even give us our offense in some of the best times last season versus just what we've seen with not even the full lineup out there. And you can see that just the nature of this offense now is going to create more open looks. And that's all you can ask for.
Is Vooch the biggest surprise?
Of the preseason to me, yeah. I give Vooch the biggest surprise because, like I had for the longest been saying, well, Vooch isn't hitting the 3 too well, but he's doing everything else well. Vooch in the preseason is 60% from the 3-point range.
But even that, right? Like, I feel like Vooch, it seems like Vooch went to Billy and was like, stop making me shoot like this.
Yeah.
Like, I think Billy adjusting is a bigger surprise as well. But, like, I think Vooch literally went to Billy. And we heard it. We talked about it here. We talked about it on both of our platforms. Vooch literally was like, you take away the 3 ball from me, and I can still give you 25 and 10.
Yeah.
And he's like, let me prove it to you. And, I mean, I think that's why you go get a Dragic. I think that's why you need Ayo to take them threes. That's why you need P. Will to be confident in that 3 ball. By the way, he pulling that mug, bro. That 3 ball, he just letting it fly.
Who's?
Who? P. Will. He just letting that mug fly, bro.
I mean, he's been a 40% 3-point shooter for his career, but like, listen, he got to hit him, and I think it's probably going to eventually. We're going to see a game where P. Will is 5 for 7 from 3-point range. Watch, it's coming.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And here's the weird thing. His release ain't quicker. I almost feel like his release is slower.
You know what I feel like, though? It feels like is he jumping higher
he's
on his jump shot?
I definitely feel like he's jumping with it. But I think he also just, like, increased his strength so that he can take shots further back because he knows he's not going to have the fastest release. Like, that 3 he took today, I was like, that's a deep 3. Because he took it outside. He came off of the screen and was just like, I'm going to just pull this now. And I think he also realizes at the same time, like, if I put my arms in the air.
I have a 7'2" wingspan.
You got to be tall to get up there.
Yeah. Hey, this team, man. I've really enjoyed this preseason. Who's been this biggest surprise of the preseason for you before we go?
Biggest surprise of the preseason from, I mean, you got to say Javonte Green as well. You got to say, like, Javonte shooting like 90% from the field. Like, what is he doing? But you know what? I'll give Muggs one that for some reason people are deciding to hate on, or maybe you just need a player to hate. Goran Dragic has actually been a little bit of a surprise to me. Not like the shooting numbers, but like how he's still able to create. Like, he's still a shot creator.
Gordon Dragic scored 13 points of 6 for 9 shooting, and I swear I can only remember him shooting the ball twice. Like, it's effortless. Like, he just does his thing.
He's still creating a shot. And I mean, like, he's still getting past people. Like, he did a little in and out, but he was stuck, and then he just blew past him to the bucket. Like, Goran Dragic was a surprise. I'm gonna be real with you. To me, when we get halfway through the season, we'll be talking about the Bulls offseason completely different than how most, I think me and you talk about it the same, but how most Bulls fans talk about the Bulls offseason, I think it'll be completely different than what it was at the start. Because I think you'll see, not that they went out and made the splash move, but they went out and made the right move.
I love the way that you worded that.
Appreciate that. Bars.
That was bars. That was no better way to end the show, brother.
Hey man, let's get up out of here, man. Follow us both on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can also follow us on everything, or you can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Are we on Spaces too? Did we go live on Spaces?
Oh crap! I forgot, bro. I went right from Central to here. That's my fault.
All right. Hey, we've been working.
But as people, since we'll say it while we're here, from now on, we will be going live on Twitter Spaces as well as when we do these post-game shows. So if you're on Twitter, you don't want to see our faces, you can just listen to us. There you go with it. I don't know why you wouldn't want to see our faces, but if you don't want to see our faces, there you go.
I had some dude pop into my live during the live talk. He said, "Hey, bro, your takes used to annoy the mess out of me, but now that I've listened to you for a while, you ain't that bad. I still miss Big Dave, though." I'm like, he not dead, bro. Like, let's go listen to CHGO after you listen to Locked On Bulls. After you listen to Locked On Bulls. Like,
that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. But you can follow me at CEO Haize. Thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. Now for your second listen, go and check on the Ultimate Pro Basketball Preview 2022, a 6-episode extravaganza to get you ready for the NBA season. Local team experts and the NBA insiders of Locked On Podcast Network and Audacity all combine into one ultimate NBA preview. Search the Ultimate Pro NBA Preview 2022 on your Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This is Locked On Bulls. We out this month.
Hold on. Before you end it. What's his name? Kwame Tsunami said, "I look like an R&B singer." Kwame, you look like you got a 6-track EP that's gonna flop on the corner of Halstead. All right, let's get up out of here.